Hey, so I wanted to make a video. What I feel is something I want to talk about, and it's a review, my review of The Flash, the TV show, season 3. So overall, well for me, I've been watching The Flash since well originally on TV, and I watched it when it came out. Well, just the first episode. I was able to see the first episode on TV. I didn't have cable, but that's how it was for me. Growing up, there had been times where I had cable and times where I didn't in my home. So I didn't see it for a while until Netflix showed up, and then that's ever since then. That's when I've been watching it. Me personally, for season 3, okay, my take is that uh, it's okay. I think my view of it has been a little bit different because for me personally, I think we've already seen this before. I've already seen it before. Um, so far all the main villains in the series has been just bad guys that had super speed. Yeah, I've seen that in the first season, which is good. I like to see Reverse Flash, and then Zoom, which I understood because Zoom is literally no different than Reverse Flash. If you read the comics, they're both look the exact same, except they're just two different people. And now with Savitar being the main villain, I just it was the same. For me, it was just the same. I remember when I first heard of what they were gonna do in season 3, which was focused more on Flashpoint, and I remember when this was the first time I heard of it, when this was like in 2016 in the summer. I remember we were talking about it at some IHOP or something with friends of mine from back home, and this was during the time when Pokemon Go was being a big thing. They mentioned it how it will start with Flashpoint, and I really was excited to see that. Um, and I liked it a lot. Especially, I was always interested with the storyline. I've watched the animated movie of that, and that was a good film. And just to give like a quick background of Flashpoint, it was a storyline where the Flash goes back in time to prevent his mom dying, and for doing that caused unbalance in the timeline. Pretty much, it was like I don't forgot what how that was described. I think it was like a time barrier sort of thing. Like, it's just what he did was enough to cause like a burst where everything gets shifted a bit in life, where everything where all those little shifts became one huge different I'd say timeline. um and that was really a good storyline, and in the comics, pretty much that was the main event that led to the New 52 storylines, which lasted for about 5 or 6 years or so, around there, until now the current DC story or comics of the Rebirth. Yeah, the Rebirth. Um, and that involved with I think it was Doctor Manhattan or something like that. And well, those are brief stuff about the storylines for the comics now. But back to season three, I just felt that Flashpoint was kind of too brief for 2 episodes. You know, I don't think that was a lot. I think that was just too brief. I think that was kind of a letdown because I thought the whole season would be solely about Flashpoint and him trying to fix his problems or whatnot. You know, I thought that was going to be the main uh, focus in the season, but it wasn't. And then once he undid that, you know, there was a little different uh, changes in in the, well, I guess the altered timeline because uh, a few things happened, like Cisco's brother died, and Iris and her father Joe didn't speak with each other for a while, and you know some changes, and then including that Barry had a coworker. Um, but from in general, what I got was the bad guy was created because of Flashpoint because this timeline that Barry made had Savitar involved. I just don't like that Savitar is just a future version of Barry Allen himself, or well, a time remnant of himself, and I think honestly, I think the uh, the origin of him being a bad guy is kind of stupid. You know, he was one of the few time remnants that the Flash made that survived, and Barry's family disowned him, shunned him, saying, "You're not the real Barry." And he felt hurt and pain. He's like, "Well, if I'm a god, I'm not going to feel pain." I feel like that's kind of the dumbest reason someone would go through all that Savitar did, just to make sure he's alive and whatnot, because knowing that Barry had to uh, deal with Iris' death, which was apparently evident in this timeline. Because again, this was an altered timeline. So in this timeline, um, being very complex, like, I'm not gonna lie, the Flash timelines and story is kind of been complex since the beginning. Because since the beginning of the series, there has already been an altered timeline. Pretty much similar to Terminator. But this timeline, Iris died. Okay, and the bad guy, who is a copy of Barry Allen, wants to make sure that that happens so that he will still be uh, existing. And for that, really, it was for him to be doing whatever he wants to do. I think. I'm not a fan of the armor suit. I don't get the purpose of the armor suit either. It's just, I don't get all that, and it's really was kind of overdone, I think, and it was feeling a bit redundant. Um, I did like to see the new characters like Gypsy, Gypsy and Cisco thing happening here and there. Caitlin being Killer Frost. And, I was kind of getting a little out of hand too with bad guys. But that was kind of understandable because they were bad guys in the Flashpoint. They had powers in the Flashpoint, so it was kind of I guess because time getting mixed up and whatnot, that was understandable. But really was confusing with Savitar. Like he just came out of nowhere because of Flashpoint. It was just like how, and this weird infinite loop of his, which never really had a clarification. But I think the plot twist itself was good. That Iris did not die. She was switched place with HR, which I think was pretty cool. I think that was a cool plot twist. You know, that the old trick of switching two people where one takes the other's place. I think that was cool, and that did change a lot, to be honest with you. But yeah, that's just really my general review of season 3 of The Flash. It was okay. You know, it had its moments, but I think it's just becoming a little redundant now. You know, I just hope that season 4, there will not be another speedster that's going to be a villain. You know, I think this should be something else. Um, but so yeah, that's been my review, and hope you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully you guys have a great day. And if you like it, you know, hit a like, and until next time, take care.